Hello and welcome to what I am considering an inaugural stream, as it were. I want to try out doing a thing that I really enjoy doing, which is reading narrative games and reading narratives aloud. Something that I really like, and exploring a new narrative game. People watching, I thought, would be an potentially enjoyable experience for other people. Come on in. Out. Do something like that. But I decided, due to the fact that I've been very interested recently in the Fallen London universe by the Failbetter Games team, to start with Sunless Sea. You don't need to know anything about Fallen London to my understanding about this, though knowing about it can give you some insight into specific things. And with limited insight I know from my experiences with it, I only started or two ago, I want to say, but it's been a really interesting little thing, and it's a really odd and bizarre series of narratives that you kind of have to unpick and untangle as you go. So I'm kind of looking forward to exploring that. I thought, why not invite all of my friends to join? So, without too much further ado, to the game cam. Hold, please. I think I know how to fix this. Do we have it now? And is it the same? Right? It has to be a stream of some sort with some sort of strange issue. Excellent. Hopefully that is all we need then. I'm not... Oh, now I understand what's happening. Okay, even better, I should have fixed that now to exactly what it should have been on the other one and what it should have started with. So, perfect. Thank you so much for dealing with it. Hopefully I should have fixed the mono issue as well, which should click over momentarily. Great, thank you. Perfect. All right. Well, with that, let's begin our journey under the sea. Without fuel, neither your engines nor your prow lamps will function. Seems pretty. Also, La Libertalia, ominous news. Morrissey, Annie, Danny, thank you all for coming and helping me out with it. All right. 3 days ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome, the Untersee. Choose a past. Decide who you were and what you want to be. You are now in a lodge in a room above the blind helmsman. Now you're a captain. Now you belong to the Untersea. But who were you before? And we have a lot of options here. We could be a street urchin. Our urchin gang cast us out when we grew too tall. You took to sea rather than graduate to larger crimes. That last big score was enough to buy a ship. A poet, educated and articulate, you seek sensation at sea. How lucky you had a legacy to spend. Your long-vanished father had a rich patron, it seems. So we can throw wild parties in international water. A veteran of the campaign of 68. You fought in the invasion of Hell. London's armies lost. You survived. Your loot and your pension have bought you a command. Demon Hunter. An ordained priest. You fell from grace. There is nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found this way out for you. Perhaps at Z, you can overcome your appetites. Or a natural philosopher. Our peculiar theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the cavern where London lies. And now they take you out to sea. Alright, yeah. Z Urchin seems like street urchin. Z Urchin. Yeah, Z Urchin any day. Seems like the great way to start. This will give us a bonus to Veils, the skill of subtlety and evasion. Your friends, another Longshanks, knows a little of gunnery, only a little. She can help. Talk to her to find out why she went to sea. You were a street urchin, now you're a Z captain. We've gained 10 echoes, a Longshanks gunner, 25 Veils, and we are no longer a stranger. But we have to choose an ambition. What does winning mean to you? We can hunt for our father's bones. Our father was lost at Z. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remain to London's for a decent burial. Immortality, eternal life sounds like something you enjoy, and it said that the presbyter, the ruler of the Elder Continent, has lived forever. Fulfillment, we could gather 100 tales, learn all we can of the Z, and write a masterpiece and retire. Or wealth, you know how it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family, perhaps. Or apparently there is a locked ambition where we could establish a private kingdom, a colony where you are absolute ruler, a utopia, perhaps. Perhaps. So, starting with one of these, I feel like our father's bones are a much more interesting ambition to begin with. Oh, though, as I was about to say, at any point, if anyone does feel as though they have an opinion on what we want to do, by all means throw it out in the chat, and I will take it under consideration. Mortality is a doomed pursuit. Morrissey wants to see me suffer, so I think that that's a decent reason enough as any to start with a young street urchin who desperately wants to become immortal at sea. That is who we are. The Presbyterian guards its secrets fiercely, but amidst the clamor and beer stains of the blind helmsman, a salt-scarred navigator is telling tales of the continent's deepest interior, of a city called Nida, and the origin of the presbyter's long life. Where is he getting his information? Bring wine. He is susceptible to wine. You will find the navigator and your first clue, London, which is, I believe, where we are now. So, our ambition is to liberate the secrets of immortality. Last scrap of paperwork. Captain, an irregularity with the harbor master's office. They wish to know what term of address do you prefer ashore? This will determine what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. Yeah, madam, sir, citizen, my lord, my lady, or captain. I am of the opinion captain will do perfectly well ashore as well at sea. Thank you. Captain it is. A last piece of advice. Explore. Take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry. But each captain passes on lessons to the next. And with that, we choose our name and our, icon here. This seems the most urchin-y to me. Let's name ourselves a good urchin name, Pip. Captain Pip. Fallen London. Deep, dark, and marvelous. All voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. London is the greatest city on the Untersea, and don't you... we have several options that we can proceed at here. Ooh. Oh, I see. I'm going to need to change Nightbot's settings there. That's a little too aggressive for that. I'm not entirely certain how to do that, but I'll look over after the stream. But I guess for now, the bot gets angry if you type in all caps exclusively, so I'll see about that before next stream. So we have several options, the ones of which are locked to us, however, so I'm going to ignore the ones that are locked for now. We could adopt a Blemmigan Gallivanter. A Blemmigan sits on top of a splintered crate, clicking and whistling at captains as they come near. A polite bow. You extend your hand and the Blemmigan leaps on. Its tendrils entwine with your fingers, and it chitters quietly. It meets your gaze and bobs its dome in greetings. It's very small. Is it old enough for naval service? You're pretty sure its mustache has been drawn on in pen in an attempt to look older. As you approach your ship's gangplank, the creature flutes and vibrates with apparent happiness. The bosun winces as you bring it aboard. We now have one of this, a Blemmigan Gallivanter. What a keen little mushroom. So it is a little mushroom. Can we look at old? It apparently isn't a piece of cargo, though we do have several things probably worth it. We have a Dromedary Ligeia class steamer. We have 10 fuel and 5 supplies. An Invictus token. You are in unforgiving mode with no save slots beside your basic autosave. We switch, which I will absolutely do so if I do. I have no shame. Advice for Captain. This provides the advice. That, and we have a Whisper-locked puzzle box. Speak the right phrase and the tumblers will align and unlock, but we don't know what the right phrase. The alarming scholar, who I don't believe we know, may have some idea. Journal shows our ambition and our memories, as well as our current objective and some miscellaneous information that we... Oh, here we go. Here's our little friend. He can be a mascot, apparently. Oh, I like him very much. Your Blemmigan Gallivanter. It has made its home on a shelf in your cabin. It has built a nest from loose pages, the engineer's scarf, and a possibly pilfered map. Entertain your Blemmigan. You can see the indentation of a porthole on the rim of its cap. It must have been pressing its face to the windows again. Is it bored? A ticklish thing. The Blemmigan flails and squirms as you tickle it. Its high-pitched warble is almost certainly giggling. When you stop, to check that you're not actually hurting it, it wraps its tendrils around your finger and pulls your hand back. It is apparently enjoying itself. I appreciate that it also appears to have teeth. Back to London. I think we should visit the Admiralty's survey office before we cast off to sea. They'll pay for information from Z captains. Find out what, how. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Z captains a small sum for recent information. Visiting and investigating ports gains us port reports, and we can train them in here. First time you trade in a port report, you'll gain Admiralty's favor. Ask if there's anything particular they need. Get a specific commission. This port. Speak to our agent there and return. See that your reward. Visit the port below and return to London. You can check the details in your time. Retrieve strategic information from the Iron and Misery Company funging station. Not somewhere not far from home waters, though they appear to have given us no directions whatsoever. Asked to speak to a higher authority. Do we have an appointment? I don't think we need to, but I suppose, sure, let's try to talk to somebody more important. Not as such, once you've proven yourself. Survey 3 ports and return to win the Admiralty's favor. I think we're done with the Admiralty. Out into the foggy street. Turn your collar up. Dr. Pancakes, thank you for the follow. Awesome. Also, thank you, Madam Ava, for the follow as well. We could hire on more crew. I don't know if we need any. Let's continue to examine our ship and see what we have available. We do have a comatose ferret, apparently, as our other... Lala Bertalia, thank you very much for the follow as well. We have a comatose ferret as well that we appear to be able to speak to. We can attract its attention. It lies across your desk like a lumpy scarf. We try to play with it. A weary roll of the eye. Play, that eye roll says. Play. I played once. Happy Warrens of London before you installed me in this floating coffin and dried food. Damn your play. It is an eloquent eye roll. I don't think he wants to play with us, y'all. And our Longshanks gunner. This was a recent graduate alongside us in the Urchin gangs. All right, Captain. What do you want me to shoot at now? The Longshanks gunner is not the most distinguished of officers, but she'll do until you find someone better. Ask her what she wants from life. Why did she come to Z? Khan's shadow. It's like the flip at Z, right? No one to tell you where to say or do, and no one to kick you downstairs just 'cause you got a little bit tall. I'll be a faithful officer, and put me ashore at the shadow, and I won't forget you. Khan's shadow is east of the Khanate proper, in the east central Unders. I apparently have the opportunity to start a romance with her at some point down the line, but I don't have anywhere near, apparently, the iron for it. Which is, I believe, one of our stats that we have access to. I did say that that was one of the options. We could be a soldier. The shops in London, a wide variety of things that we can purchase. We have very little money, I believe. 60 echoes, the currency of fallen London, and almost nothing costs less than that. Urchins, 2 friends, 2 lovers. I like that a lot. All right. Back to the story. I think... Let's take a look at our own lodgings real quick. Though I don't imagine we'll be spending much time here, given we'll be setting to sea soon. Here you may catch up with your correspondence, rest, or retire altogether from seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better the quality of your retirement, naturally. Read the morning papers. The Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter. News. I'm shocked that we can read as a street urchin, but I suppose let's give a quick check. So news from abroad. The Khanate is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies on the Carnelian coast want independence. They always do. The Untersee, the papers report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet, it hasn't. You'd know. Oh ho! A promotional coupon from Mrs. Plenty's Provisioners for a half cask of salt herring. You could use that. We now have one of this recent news. Apparently outlying colonies are often eager for this. And we have 1 supplies, because we got a coupon. If you run out of supplies, hunger will eventually destroy you. Great. And then the rest of this appears to be elevating our living arrangements, or retiring. which of course we are not prepared to do. So, in the interim, I think... You know, there's a lot of information here. I've established the very basics, I think, of how it goes. And I think we can get ready to set sail at the moment. Ambition. Death hath no more dominion. The Blind Helmsman is a Wolfstack institution, a centuries-old pub held together by a crust of fry smoke and the nautical mementos nailed to the walls. When you enter, the salt-scarred navigator is already in a full flow. A city deep in the interior. Nida, it's called. There they decide the span of every life. And then later, if we get a cask of mushroom wine, he coax tales of immortality from him. Don't have that yet. Can we just buy that in town, perhaps? Take a look at the store. Stack exchange a cask of mushroom wine for 21 of our 60 echoes. A small price to pay to learn of immortality, I think. Coax tales of immortalities from him. Nida's walls are basalt, but within them, it's as close to paradise as a man can make. 1,000 fountains, the streets paved with gem slabs, and the air sweet with honeysuckle and orange groves. How does he know? Has he been there? Are we going to have to sacrifice our mushy friend to make wine? I hope not. But if it means our immortality, I think that's a price I'm willing to pay. No self-respecting Londoner doesn't spend 33% of their net worth on booze, from what I understand. Straight from the source, 1 bottle and he loosens his waistcoat. A second and he loosens his tongue. No, I've never been to Nida, not in the flesh at least. He leans close. But I once tasted red honey, and the memories of a man who had. I only saw fragments. An army at the walls, a breach, a rallying cry. Liberty, equality, eternity. A third bottle. Where could you taste these memories for yourself? Go to the Isle of Cats. Talk to the cat's chiefest claw. Ask about the far-traveled notary. But if you're wise, you'll do like me. Use what you learn to get free drinks. Immortality is for gods and monsters. And we can pursue our ambition on the Isle of Cats. It is said that Seven once tried to democratize death. I don't know what that means. But I do think it is important to figure out how to become immortal. Island of Cats, there is one thing I do know about Fallen London thus far, is that there are cats that are fully capable of human speech. And they seem to, from my limited understanding of it, though we may find out more over the course of this game, be able to kind of walk in and out of dreams somewhat, which is, I think, a very interesting. So I look forward to talking to what very well may be a literal actual cat to learn how to become immortal. And acquire a submarine, but I don't think we're quite ready for that. There is, however, a passenger, someone in the docks who wants to board our ship. I think we can get some easy money by taking someone somewhere. It seems like a good first job for our plucky little street urchin on a way to becoming immortal. Agree to carry the anxious university student to Hunter's Keep. He has no money, so the other captains have no interest. He's a passionate youth. He promises that his study on Lorn flukes will be rewarding enough. Okay, so he can't pay, I suppose. We need to build a reputation. We're working for exposure to start with, I suppose, but we'll probably figure something out later. Let's welcome him aboard all the same. He jumps for joy as you agree to take him aboard. Thank you, thank you. Please, take me to Hunter's Keep right away. A Lorn fluke, a full dead Lorn fluke washed ashore. I'm doing my thesis on them. Do you know they can digest human memory? And I may never have a better chance to study one up close. We are bound for Hunter's Keep. It is rare that something so awful washes ashore. Knowing something about Lorn Flukes is probably bound to pay off later. Knowing what a Lorn Fluke is especially may be helpful. I think let's keep our thing at the moment. I think I'm going to give our comatose ferret here a break and replace our mascot with our Blemigan Gallivanter. He gives us 3 mirrors and 2 pages. I believe those are our stats. We have the opportunity to upgrade our ship, though, once again, we don't have any money right now. So I think that should be our first step, is getting out there to get some money. So we press E to launch out of Fallen London. Quite quiet. Let me up a bit. Oh my, it's been quite quiet this entire time. Oh well, I suppose this time. Oh, we can battle, apparently, if we wanted to attack London. Which we might. I think it is important to take a look at our charter at the moment. Oh, we can't see anything. I see. Though we have discovered Bad Stevener's Abyss. Gain 50 fragments. Much loud. There we are. Another boat on the undersea. Toggle our lights. I know that takes fuel. I don't know if we speak to you? No? Oh wait, dock. A light ship far from home. Perhaps we should read a little bit more about our advice for Captain. Know a little bit more about where we need to go. A much lamented M.D. Moe found a watery grave long, long ago. Perhaps your end will be no better, but if you read this book of invaluable advice, your chances will improve. On endings and beginnings, captains often die. This is not the end. When you die, you'll learn lessons which will help you survive next time. And roguelike. Beware. The layout of the Untersee changes with each new captain, but home waters are stable, and islands will only move so far. Legacies. Future captains can inherit some skills, officers, equipment, and money. Over time, you'll find extra items and advantages that will allow you to preserve a greater inheritance. So, we are a lineage of captains. It is the first. On exploration, exploration is the heart of this game. Risk brings reward. Staying close to London is safe, but eventually, you'll run out of fuel and supplies. Exploring and playing port stories will allow you to find secrets and echoes. Echoes being the money. Speak to your officers and spend secrets on improving your abilities. Spend echoes on equipment and port. You can often find officers in London. On Mercy, Unforgiving mode is how the game is meant to be played. One autosaved updated when you reach port and wiped on death. If you're getting frustrated or want a more leisurely experience, you can switch to Merciful mode instead. Saving or loading manually will permanently switch your character to Merciful mode. This will remove the Invictus token. Completing a game with the Invictus token intact is a badge of honor. We'll start on Unforgiving as it stands, but if it becomes an obstacle to progress, we won't hesitate to turn it off. On Machines, your prow lamp dispels darkness, reduces terror, increase, and allows you to find Z-marks. Your engines, of course, drive the ship forward into the night. Both your prow lamp and your engines use fuel. More powerful engines use more fuel, but all lamps use fuel at the same rate. Try not to run fuel. Note that the Admiralty will compensate you with fuel for port report. So, we need gas for our boat. Understood. On finding places to explore, use your Z-Bat to scout. Technically, it's a chiropteroscope, but we're among friends here. Press Z or click the Z-Bat button at the bottom of the screen, and it will tell you where the nearest undiscovered island is. Be warned, if you're moving, it will give less accurate directions. Pause to get the most accurate reading. On fighting, whether your enemy is in the arc of your guns, you'll see a firing solution glow around the fire buttons increase. When it is complete, let them have it. You can fire earlier if you like, but may miss. Larger ships may have access to different gun slots. The green glow means your enemy is in the light. Enemy ships also have an arc on their guns. Try to stay out of their way. Enemy Z-beasts will generally try to ram or bite you, submerge between times to avoid your attacks. If you're careful and turn your lights off, you may also be able to sneak up behind them and get a shot in first. A lot of ways to fight in boats. When you put into port, you can generally visit and exhaust the story options until your next visit. Something awaits you. If you have the something awaits you quality when you are at Z, you know that more story is waiting for you when you make port. It'll crop up whenever you're sailing around. If you see a flavor message like distant bells, that means you have something. Finally, on terror. Terror increases gradually over time while you're out at Z, away from land. Watch the skull. The skull. Oh, here. When you see orange or red pips, terror will bump up if you spend much longer in the frightening place. Many events will increase it too. How do I reduce it? Use shore leave in London or in other ports, but London is the most cost-effective. Lots and lots of other stories increase or reduce terror. And now we understand how to sail, and we never need to think anymore. We got $50 for that book. That makes up for the wine cask we bought for the strange man who told us about this place that we need to go to be immortal. We can acquire a submarine in a distant colony, I understand. You need to go to Port Carnelian to our ship into a submarine. But let's speak to the lightship that we just found here. Speak to crew. They long for news of home. We have news of home from them. Because we have the recent news that we got from reading the newspaper. So let's tell them. Tea beneath the light, in the bleaching glare of the lens, among the smells of oil and metal, you sip tea and chat. The Z's terror recedes. So we lost our recent news, but we did gain one Z story. Strange truths are told of the waves and what lies beneath. The lies are even stranger. And we could buy fuel from them, but I don't think we need to, because it would be at double the price. So, fare thee well, lightship. You were a good friend in the sea at the time. Let's shoot our Z-Bat out, see what that brings back. It will take us to the nearest uncharted island. Z-Bat has discovered something. Click on the message to mark the location on your chart. Mutton Island is some distance to the south. Click on the chart icon to view discoveries so far. Chart in compass rose down here. So, our bat has told us that there is Mutton Island down here. I think we can sail from Mutton Island. Why not? Who knows what we will do there? Found some terror. Full steam ahead, everyone. The naming conventions in the game are very Batman-esque in a way. There is something that I have noticed that I find interesting, in that most of the people seem to be rural mega. Oh dear. I'm being attacked by a big crab, it would appear. Oh dear. I've shot the crab. Mutton Island is being assaulted by crabs. The Megalops defeated. The forlorn and wailing cry, the Megalops turns on its back, its legs neatly folded. This bluish blood gouts from its wounds. Its golden glow begins to dim. Dissect it for knowledge. It is a low-risk challenge, and our pages gives us an 81% chance of success. Tell me more about this crab. A crab full of conundrums. You set to work with knives and acids. It is an undistinguished adolescent specimen, a megalops, of one of the deep Z crab species. But its eyes, normally vestigial in these troglodytic beasts, are large and rather beautiful. The golden glow is almost gone now, although sparks leak now and then. We succeeded on our Pages challenge and got 25 fragments, which are scraps of lore. If we gain enough fragments, we can combine them into a secret. I noticed we were getting fragments down here for discovering new things. And Ash, I sure hope that wasn't Donut. We have a lot more problems if it was. But we have another crab to kill in the interim. We have to save Mutton Island from these vile beasts. And after that, I should check to see whether or not my cannon has ammunition. Ow, dick. His mighty claws struck me. I don't think we need to dissect this for any more knowledge, as we did it once already, so let's butcher it for some supplies. We've lost 12 hunger, pale and salty meat. The crew will feast, but glowing flesh is unstable. It crisps and withers as the glow fades, so eat it while it's fresh. Closing the gazetteer. Alright, we've saved Mutton Island from the horrible beasts. We have 5 supplies remaining, and our hunger has refreshed. 7 barrels of fuel. Eating through that much faster than I expected. Learn how to turn my lights on and off quickly. Crab legs for dinner, and dinner, and dinner. Given the size of that, I think we'll be eating crab for the foreseeable future. We've made it to Mutton Island. Fires on the hillside. Once, the simple fishing village was part of the London suburbs before London fell and the waters rushed in. Wandering parson? I'm going to, by and large, just skip over actions that are locked to us at the moment, otherwise we'll be here for a million years. But I think it would be wise to explore the shore a little bit, wander around along the shore. You take a stroll along the beach. Perhaps the Z has brought you something. Driftwood? Something glinting? A nasty glob of goo? Or what remains of a shipwreck? What's washed up here? Drums of fuel stamped with the marks of the Royal Navy. Some naval picket met its end out here. Well, you can find a use for it. Doubled our fuel supply immediately by just finding them on the docks. Though I do believe that that was what they were talking about with something awaits. So we spent something awaits to just get some free fuel. Seems like a worthwhile endeavor to me, especially given the fact that I believe we are broke. Let's take drinks at the Cock and Magpie. There's only one public house on the island. The Cock and Magpie is famed for its local cider and, of course, seafood. Actually, let's not take drinks at the Cock and Magpie. Once again, I don't want to spend 1/5 of my entire currency to reduce 1 terror, it appears, when that does not appear to be all that much. But a wretched mog. Pick up a wretched mog. Karma Chimera, thank you very much. The stream is going quite well. I appreciate you dropping in and asking. A yellowed, mangy, piebald thing winds around your ankles like a manacle chain. You've never seen a cat's mouth open that wide. Presumably it's hungry. This is a mascot, one variety of officer. We could feed it with 3 out of our 5 supplies, which is quite a lot. Do we have enough? We cannot purchase any more here. I think we may have to come back for the cat at some point, much that I loathe to leave a cat unfed. Perhaps we can find ways to get better supplies. We can buy supplies from this dockside stall for 30 echoes. Or we can chat to the fishermen. Let's chat to the fishermen, pay them an echo for their information. See some more. Little ships and secrets, pirates plying the way of smugglers at their work, connate ships pulling in to resupply. Nothing dramatic, but it's enough to interest the Admiralty. You now have one of these, a port's report, a Quaker's haven. Ranks of the Cock and Magpie is one of those options that tell you that. Doesn't make sense. Definitely gambling to pay out. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Also, hello, Scoop Owl. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome in. Well, at the interim, I think let's retake a look at what our journal holds right now. We are taking that we found Hunter's Keep. Find the shore. I don't think we've figured out where that is yet, though. I suppose exploring a little bit further and using our bat might be the best way to do it. So, take to sea. Throwing the bat out into the air. There are no islands within our poor Z-bats. I am a new player, yes. In general, I would prefer to avoid just straight backseating unless I specifically adjust it. We are here to sort of explore all of this after all. I've played a little bit of Fallen London in the browser game, and I'm really interested in exploring more about kind of the lore of the world and all of this stuff, and I know that this is kind of a standalone thing that isn't time-gated either, so I thought it might be fun to explore it and do so with an audience, reading it aloud for folks who are interested. Being butchered by crabs at Z. Oh, I know it's quite a lot. I hope to be in it for the haul as long as people are still enjoying it. It'll be a matter of whether or not how much it ends up repeating the same content and things like that. But all in all, I hope to explore a lot of it. At the very least, whether or not I explore all of it on stream or videos, I likely plan to explore it on my own video at some point. I can understand why that would be. It's a slow game, I am having to do a lot of reading, having to do a lot of things, for people who aren't necessarily interested in, reading every single bit of box text out. I can imagine that's not necessarily the ideal game that people want for a high energy stream. Thankfully, I'm not looking for a high energy stream. I love reading things aloud. So hopefully this remains fun and entertaining for people who continue watching. But in the interim, I'm hungry for crab. True. And I'm hoping that we can use that opportunity of drifting back and forth in transit to talk about things that have happened in the game, talk about other things as we chat with, the people that are in the chat. If we've gotten any closer to another island. There are no islands. However, I do appear to have come across the Mayan Canal. It's not Hunter's Keep. It's an obvious structure of some sort. We've discovered the Albertine Gates. This boat is very slow. I imagine because of Giannati Harbor. I think these little circles. Some sort of beetle has invaded your morsel of ship's biscuit. It waggles its antenna impertinently. Let's dock. The Kumayan Canal staging. Here the dark waters run down from the surface from a brighter sea. The canal ascends through locks and gates, shadowed turns to the sunlight of the surface at Paul Giamatti Harbor. We cannot travel to the surface, as we don't have a wide variety of options. However, can listen for surface gossip. I think something interesting. The ships of the surface linger here. This is their lifeline to a warmer place. So I guess it's sort of an elevator canal in a way. You have to use locks to bring ships up and down. I appreciate that, Karma. And from what I understand, the something waits. They remind me of sort of the favors from the Fallen London game, where you sort of can spend them on different things that are coming up in different places, depending on what you're getting. That seem to show up, I'm guessing, once you're at sea for a period of time. Mechanic spoilers, I don't necessarily hate, but I don't want to, like, do lore spoilers or anything like that more than anything else. I don't necessarily want to be, like, led by the nose or anything like that, but spoilers on how the game itself functions, I don't terribly mind. A card game ends badly when one surface sailor knifes another for all the usual reasons. The other players scrabble for the coins that spill from her pockets, but you snatch up a scrap of paper that they overlook. Various markings, dates, times, code names. His work? Moves. We have acquired 1 moves in the great game. The nations of Europe and beyond compete for influence. Their plots reach even the Neath. The admiral and the diplomat, among others, will be... The great game is something that I thought is very interesting, because it seems to be sort of an Ouroboros of spies to not a lot of heavy purpose, from what I can garner, or at least glean from, you know, outside of it. It's sort of spycraft for spycraft's sake, almost. And I think there's a reasonable... let's gather a report from the Kumayan Canal. Business as usual. The gates open and shut. The locks remain free from sabotage. If anywhere beside London is safe in all the Untersee, it's here. The surface nations have an interest in keeping the way open. We now have a perfunctory report on the Kumayan Canal. And with that, we have nothing else that we can really do here. We could buy fuel and supplies. That's a think. Not running too low on them because we keep eating crabs that we find at sea, so let's let it ride. What's the worst that happens? We die? Back into the deep ocean with us. I like the little buoys that they have sitting out here just as lights. I think while those are still fairly prevalent, we probably don't need to have our headlamp draining fuel. It stands. Oh, the game has actual favors as well. Interesting. As I can tell, that doesn't seem to have a cooldown of any kind or cost to it. There continue to be no Z-bets, or no islands within the Z-bets range. Black lights loom out of the distance like a trains of stacks dot. Oh, you're hostile. I see. You're pirates. Oh dear. Alright, alright. Time for our first true battle against something that isn't a crab, and their boat is much larger than mine. Let's hope our maneuverability serves us well here. They seem to have a very difficult time turning to actually hit us. This is Urchin combat. Being the most annoying little ship possible. Something awaits as a token. You can only refreshes after you've been at sea for a minute or two. A bell and toll icon in the corner of the will inform you when it has refreshed. Slow down. Ram them? Oh, hey. Oh, no, they figured out that their plan isn't working, of driving in a circle. The main takeaway is that all the different something awaits options and ports are mutually exclusive. Okay, if you dock before the token refreshes, the timer resets and you have to... Okay, I see. You can only spend one. So when I found the 5 free fuel at ship, or on the shore of Mutton Island, I was spending the favor for that, and then the favor in the great game. That's an interesting little thing. It's an incentivization to just kind of go back and dock at everything you see, because you can spend the something awaits as soon as you get there. Oh yeah, these guys are... I don't entirely... The bouncing of the hulls against one another is really entertaining to me. You've destroyed a crack pirate frigate. The ship is yours. What will you do with her? Loot and scuttle her. She's a vile old vessel, and the Z's aren't safe. Take what you can and move on. Something in the back of the hold. Finished opening a cache of curiosities. We gained a supply into a fuel. And a filthy scrap of paper. Creased and grimy. It's a page from a journal. Until the 6th candle was extinguished. Now we all watched the flame as it stood up, as it were on tiptoe. Taller and bluer each heartbeat. Its light grew brighter in the moment, or it failed, so that I saw the faces of all my companions drawn in white, as if we were already... Then the candle flame drew itself up like a dancer, and was extinguished. Dark fell upon us all like a wave, and I heard the hatchlings uncoil. You have finished opening a cache of curiosities, and we have a tale of terror. Recall it, then light a candle. Light another. Tale of terrors, I know, in the browser game are a type of currency. I'm guessing that they are largely the same thing here. Send our bat up and maybe head a little bit back Londonwards, which I imagine would be less directly threatening. Bat has told me that there's something to the east. Most things you can do with the token are beneficial or have a high chance of benefit, so you just go from port to port, refreshing the token. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I appreciate the tip, though. Everybody does love a scary story. Patrick's Lot. I loved that Stephen King book. Can't dock at the actual lighthouse, though. And just kind of drive past it. Interesting. There's a line here. Oh, I'm guessing that's probably what it meant when it was saying that the islands that are close to London don't really move. Probably everything beyond that line shuffles itself around. At least within a certain degree. The air trembles, the breath change passes. Creeping tendrils of fungus, seaweed, and unnamed flora. We enter the snares. I'm digging this music, though. It's really threatening. Oh, hey, more pirates. God damn. Oh, these guys are quicker. It actually might be harder than the bigger ship. No, never mind. These guys have no idea what they're doing. They're terrible pirates. This is why you don't tangle with the urchins at sea. They know what they're doing. My little Longshanks gunner here, she's good. Mechanically, maybe not, but I trust her with my life. Give me your food. Luminescent beasts like eyeless dolphins playing. these pinnaches don't sail far from their hidden harbors, but there's something at the back of the hold. We've finished opening a cache of curiosity. Tap the bung carefully, some sort of barrel. It's a cask of wine. In the flaring light, it's Z-dark, but the taste is the darkness of autumn. Mushroom wine. An acquired taste, perhaps, but once you've acquired it, it would go back to grapes. Nasty little bubbles of goo grapes. I don't super appreciate the grape slander. Yeah, thus far the boat combat does just appear to be follow them around and shoot them in the ass until they die. The Quaker's Haven. Oh, that's just... I'm just back to Mutton Island again. Not in a circle. I'm a buffoon. Poor sailor that I am. Maybe the bat will help me find something else. Something closer up here. No, there are no islands within the bat's range. Crab cake. Oh, what a cool little island that I can't do anything about. I would try mushroom soda. I would absolutely try mushroom soda. Alright, let's sail into the fog. Struggle. We have entered a fog bank. Our gunners struggle to see our foe. Do we have a foe? Oh, fog makes the terror ratchet up like crazy. Not terribly surprising. Ooh, Pigmote Isle. Pigmote. I need to understand the grape combination. Let's conserve every purpose grapes can. Fruit salad, mushrooms. I'm skeptical. Oops. Careful, your hull just took damage from collision. If you have trouble steering around rocks, try slowing down or going backwards with the S key. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Fair. A little rude. Pigmote Island. 2 houses, both alike in dignity. On a lonely desert beach. There is no habitation in sight. No market. Only an old, rotting deck. A stretch of sand thickens into damp, black earth from which sprout stunted palms? Not quite. Tall fungal growths with frond-like caps, as if someone had sculpted the idea of a tree from a mushroom. And let's disembark, see what awaits us here. Have I played any other captaining games like this? Not that I can think of offhand. It's possible that I've played... I played a little bit of, it's called, Vagris, the Riven Realms. It's sort of like a more Oregon Trail-y thing, I think, but I think it's kind of the same, general gist of it. But I didn't play a ton of it. That was another game I was actually considering for the stream as well. But I believe it's much, much harder from what I've heard. It's very, very unforgiving. So maybe I'll wait until I'm better at it first. Let us disembark and see what awaits us. Or, as you step onto the quay, you hear a clamor, shouts and shooting. You can see off in the distance smoke rising from beyond the hill and dots of fire flecking the horizon. 2 tiny figures stand a little further down the quay, unmoving, as if awaiting your approach. The following is an extract from the popular Diary of a Z Captain, from London to Irem and what we did there before we arrived, washed ashore on Mutton Island, and subsequently serialized in the Unexpurgated Gazette. The author's identity remains unknown. The tale of Pigmote Isle, in which a delegation is made, a choice is presented, war is declared, and a most singular treasure is sought by all, and a new empire is founded in claw. Chapter 1. The Delegation. The figures were rodents. To my left was a Rattus Faber, wearing goggles, a blacksmith apron, and an assortment of tools. To my right, an unusually large guinea pig, wearing a helmet and breastplate reminiscent of nothing as much as the High Middle Ages. The rat stepped forward first, and bowed. Welcome, Captain, to Rat Star Island. I am Edgar, second chief engineer of the 3rd Rat Brigade. I invite you to avail yourself of food and fuel at our expense. The only cost to you is a choice. The rat stepped back. At precisely the same moment, with what appeared to be the ease of long habit, the guinea pig scuttled forward and made a declamatory chirp. Welcome, Captain, to the Isle of Cavia. I am Lady Augusta Devereux Swinch of the Blackwater Swinches, seneschal to our King Gracenaw, first of his name. I invite you to avail yourself of food and fuel at our expense. The only cost to you is a choice. Heard of that, but haven't played. It sounds like it has some overlap in navigation and resource management mechanics, same as Battle Brothers. Yeah, very similar. I know a buddy of mine, actually, I think he was in this chat recently, Morrissey, has played a ton of Battle Brothers, and I've overheard a little bit of it, and sort of the concept of management. I'm very interested in it. Well, the two remarkable rodents squatted, both seeking my support. I knew I had to choose carefully. I spoke to the chief engineer. His eyes had a wave-cold glint to them, and he wore his scars like jewels. A rat in the making. I asked the chief engineer to elaborate. He looked at me for a long, measured moment before speaking gruffly. We came to this island to make a home for ourselves away from London, its cats and snuffers, its rat-skin suits. We came to live as citizens of our own republic. We came with our tools, our teeth, our clever hands, and we made a beautiful city by the light of the rat star that shone bright and blue on Mount Ararat. The chief engineer nodded toward the distant hill. One day we braved the depths of the chicken woods, and from the top of Mount Ararat we plucked the rat star to be our light, our beacon. But the pigs of Cavey saw the light, and they lusted for it. They sent armies to rule us and steal our star. We will not permit them to take what is ours. We will resist to our last breath. Will you join us in defeating them? Let's chat with the Seneschal first. Figure out, understand what's going on between both of these bizarre creatures. A night out of habit, the Seneschal cleared her throat with a delicacy to rival the Duchess's own before speaking. Gracenaw the king, our lord and sovereign, full 7 months had sojourned on the sea, conquered this land and won the southern main. Now no fortress against him shall remain. No city walls be left for him to gain, save the rats that squeak beneath the mountain. Unlikely was the lamb of our deliverance, assured shall be our glories and their fall, when our lady's eye restored to be to our hall. The Seneschal composed herself, then added, We saw truth and beauty by the light of our lady's eye on Mount Caveat, but the rats with their guns and their chatter and their peasants' politics stole it from us. We will subjugate them and take it back. They are a rabble, and we will rule them with the steel-shod velvet of our paws. Will you join us? No. I'm not a fan of the idea of the guinea pigs ruling over the rats. I think I'm a fan of rat liberation. I'm ready to make my choice. Oh, or I could attempt to broker peace, though I imagine that would be extremely difficult. Interesting decision. Fighting with the chief engineer, he seemed grumpy but honest, and I knew all too well what rat-made weapons can do. Or I could favor the Seneschal, her charm, her fondness for London's rat-skin coats, perhaps a bit of both. No, I think I agree with Scoopella here. I'm pro-rat. I'm a big rat fan. Friends to rats. I extended a finger to the chief engineer, shook it grimly. The Seneschal hissed and chattered her teeth in disgust, but kept her distance. You've made the right choice, said the chief engineer. Let me show you around. I've gained a fuel and a supplies, and it had an occurrence. Memoirs. A rat in the making. Chosen to help the rats. Chapter 3, A Rat in the Making. The chief engineer led me to the northern side of the island, skirting the chicken woods. We passed through a number of what can only be termed checkpoints, as fierce-eyed rats shouldered their derringers and saluted the chief engineer. Soon we came upon a small colony, smaller than some of the infestations I had encountered in London flats. Perhaps only 50 Rattus Faber altogether, working diligently to fortify their side of the island. The first thing I noticed was a brilliant light beaming out from a stump of chickenwood about 6 feet high. It bathed the whole settlement in a clean blue glow. It was almost too bright to look at. By its light, I could see several raised mounds of earth suggesting shallow tunnels. An efficient fishing operation was set up by the water, an albino rat mending nets while others stabbed sharpened sticks into the waves. Further inland was a barracks, where a sergeant barked drills at a small squadron of fighters. My arrival drew attention. Several rats paused in their work to look at me curiously. "Welcome to Marinia," said the chief engineer, voice warm with pride. It's not much to look at now, but it will be once we've routed the cavies. Take a stroll around while I summon the War Council." With that, he vanished into one of the mounds and left me to explore. I took a closer look at the rat star. An excitable-looking rat was peering at it through smoky goggles, twitching her whiskers and making notes on what appeared to be real paper. Blue as sapphire, but endlessly more brilliant. "It's not a star, of course. Not really. But try explaining that to the others. The chief engineer doesn't want me working too hard to convince them. Says this is better for morale, but look at it. Look!" She offered me her goggles. I managed to work them over just enough of one of my eyes to see the truth of what she was studying. It was scintillac, but unlike any I'd seen before, blue as sapphire but more brilliant. Something about the clarity of its color was tremendously soothing. The chief science officer tittered with pleasure as I handed her goggles back. "Those of us who've been to the cavey side of the island and lived to tell of it say that there's plenty of glow there, plenty of bright in the water all around, but nothing like this. We took from this island's center, Mount Ararat, only it's not a mountain, of course, any more than this is a star. It's hollow. There's sweet water inside and coral crawling up the walls of it, but nothing that glows save this. It's ours now, and no one can take it from us." I visited the rats' barracks. The drill sergeant appeared to be sizing me up. Were the few rats around here really all she had to launch him? We were fighting impressive odds. I approached the drill sergeant and went so far as to salute her, which earned me a grunt of satisfaction. The sergeant dismissed her troops and offered me a bit of chickenwood jerky to gnaw on. "There's more of us below ground," she explained, "but not enough. The cavies are bigger and there's more of them. We're better with weapons, but haven't got the stuff to make 'em with. Most of us came here as stowaways and brought nothing but food, tools, and the fur on our backs. We can fish, and we nibble the chickenwoods, but we can't make guns out of trees. The cavies came with their own steamer and seem to have endless supplies. We raid them sometimes, but there's so few of us, and we can never hold on to territory we've gained for long. But that's of no consequence. All we want is to be left in peace to build our republic. And the Rat Star," she added thoughtfully after a moment. "Of course we want that too." I headed down to the bench. Who ever heard of a rat mending a net? Where the green billows played, an albino rat smiled up at me from his mending work, looking dainty and a little shy. "Chickenwood floats, especially when it's dried out and sealed, so we're able to paddle out a bit and cast our nets. We come up with all sorts of things, lionfish, crabs, sometimes even a chunk of broken tentacle. But the fishing would never be so good without the rat star." He beamed. "I think it only draws good fish and keeps the scary ones at bay. I know the chief science officer doesn't believe it, but I do. That light is our livelihood." I half want to take this and stick it to the front of my boat. Make a good lamp in the darkness. I finished my exploration. The bells of the War Council rang. I was summoned. The chief engineer emerged from an underground with a motley assortment of other rats. He introduced them as weapons experts, strategists, and field commanders. "So, you're going to help us beat the cavies," he said, a hard edge to his voice. "But how exactly?" I have a few options here. I offered my strategic assistance. We engineered a distraction that the LBs could use to plunder the cavy ships and turn the tide in their favor. Our Veils quality, which were pretty good. Oh, these are our stats down here. Our Veils are 50. The Veils is what we are good at. That comes from our urchin background. So I think offering our strategic advice, we're not here to take the lead ourselves. Offering our strategic advice to the rats is the best chance that we have. Weighed and found wanting. We pretended to take a rat hostage and approached the cavies, demanding an audience with the seneschal. A battalion encircled us almost immediately. Their armor and helmets clanked as they purred and chattered among themselves. Well, well, said the seneschal, regarding me with what I supposed to be a smile. A reversal of fortune. How unlikely. I suppose you will have no trouble slitting this savage's throat on our behalf. My fraction of a moment's hesitation was all the confirmation the seneschal needed. See to the ship, she snapped, and half of the party scurried to intercept the rats skulking aboard, screaming war cries that curdled my blood. As for you, seneschal said sweetly, thank you very kindly for your gift. I assure you it is most graciously received. More swiftly than I would have thought possible, the seneschal leapt onto the rat I had bound and sank her incisors into its chest. I escaped with my life, but found myself unable to forget how the rat screamed and writhed while the seneschal raised her face to me again, his liver obscenely in her mouth. Bales 50 has failed in a challenge. Try again and you may have better luck, but I've gained 5 terror as I watched a rat get its liver eaten out by a guinea pig. Holy shit. Maybe we can try that again. Let's try that again. This time will be different. We engineered a distraction. I dressed up one of me sailors in a mess of shabby cloth, smeared with prisoner's honey, and instructed him to roll around in the black earth of the island. Soon, we had a glorious mud monster to send thrashing through the chicken woods toward the cavies. The distraction worked perfectly. The cavies diverted their force towards our makeshift beast, leaving the rats with very little opposition as they plundered the grounded ship. They returned triumphant, as did my sailor, laughing, having led the cavies a merry chase. Within a few hours, the rats' diligence had resulted in the building of a remarkable cache of weapons, with which they successfully routed their enemy. The rats, ever egalitarian, shared their spoils, in addition to the promised food and fuel. We succeeded this time. Yes, Powmith, thank you for the follow, and welcome to Rat Town. We definitely didn't have a humongous problem and get a rat horrifically murdered. It's fine. But Hail Murinia, in occurrence, our Pigmote Isle might is now vulnerable, our Pigmote Isle civilization is now unacceptable, and our Pigmote Island spirit is now conflicted. However, we have attained 4 bales of parabola linen, who plucks the flax from the banks of the rivers that flow through sleep, and 1 scintillac, coral that glimmers as if moonlit. It makes marvelous jewelry or terribly expensive tea. That sounds like awful tea. And we've gained 10 fuel. The House of Cavy had fallen. Murinia was triumphant. All that remained were the celebrations and the continuation of our voyage. Oh, how we feasted long into the night. And then, I could invite one of the Ratus Faber to join us. After all, what's a ship without a few rats? I could intercede on behalf of the KVs, or just leave. Let's see if one of the rats wants to join us. No, I tend not to dip my earrings in tea, pal. Or myth. Welcome aboard. The chief engineer couldn't leave his colony, but he relayed my request to his people. The albino rat I saw mending nests shyly stepped forward. I'm good at fixing things, he said earnestly, and I'd like to see more of the world. I waited for him to gather up some effects and say goodbye to his family before accompanying him on board. We have gained an albino tinkerer. And our civilization quality has gone down because we took one of the rats with us, I believe. Oh, we kind of point it. Well, we're still dealing with this. But I do think that we should intercede on behalf of the KVs. We don't need to execute all of them, though the Seneschal probably... the Seneschal has creeped me out decidedly by eating a liver in front of me. I appealed to the chief engineer's moral fortitude and sense of fair play. Perhaps the KVs suffered the loss of the light from the center of the island. Perhaps they were only trying to get it back and not steal it from the rats. The chief engineer looked troubled at the thought. We only wanted to be left alone, he said. He looked towards the seneschal, haphazardly bandaged among the rat's other prisoners. Perhaps further negotiation is possible. As I left, I saw the albino rat timidly offering a young KV prisoner a piece of fresh fish. And yeah, that's what I get for poaching one of their best crafts rats. But hopefully they can replace that rat with some of these guinea pigs. We forged a peace between the rats and the KVs, and the spirit is optimistic of the island, though its defenses and culture are limited. The wide, dark Z beckoned. We had eaten our fill, and our business was concluded. It was time to continue our voyage, see what other wonders and terrors still awaited us. Hey, Bridge, welcome in. The end. There you finish your diary entry, and the final dregs of the rat's surprisingly good wine. They line up to salute you as you leave the victory banquet, escorting you to your ship through the foundations of their new republic. You now have a port report for the island of Pigmoot. And that's all for now. Our hunger quality is gone because we ate, and a new nation has been founded. Time passes on the Neath's most adorable empire. What a lovely place. Alright, oh, he's a mascot as well. I see. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to make him a chief engineer. How disappointing. Our Blemigan appears to be a little bit better for us at the moment, however. So let's keep him in that position. But, welcome to the team, Chief. Hope you get to see the world. The Rise of Pigmoot Island. All hail Marinia. Oh, I could steal the rat star if I wanted to. That thing that I said as a joke, because I don't actually want to dick over the rats right now. If I can fill every role of my ship with a little guy, that is honestly peak. Oh, whether you can broker a piece like that is a random chance, otherwise it's just a little subquest. Interesting. I'm wondering how much of these flags and chances are going on behind the scenes and how much of them are open, because it does tell you like when certain risks are there and when they're not. However, at the time being, I can't really do anything on this island, so I think let's head on out. Right, let's take a look at our chart again real quick. There is something to the south of us that our bat discovered earlier. I suppose let's go see what that is. Off into the full steam ahead. Full power. Beware, your engines will occasionally explode. Turn off full power, please. I would not like my engines to explode, thank you very much. Our mascot on our ship is 100 rats. Can I rename the ship? Ooh, interesting. See if I can do that. Here, the ship. Ah, it takes supplies to do so. Oh no, please stop. I need those supplies to eat. Gain to speak to your officers to improve your abilities. Oh, I should. Maybe once I dock, I'll give a chat to the Longshanks owner again. Side of the KVs. See, there's some more subjects of curse damage. You never explained. Clearly indistinguishable from scurvy from their long sea voyage. Because KVs are the only rodents that can get scurvy. Most mammals make their own vitamin C. And primates are weird for losing the gene for it. That's fascinating. I definitely drove directly past the dock. I'm a fool. That's true. That explains why she went right for the liver. All the vitamins and meat are in the liver. Yeah. Clever. The writers for at least Fallen London in general, I think, know what they're doing a lot. I also picked up Sunless Skies in a sale with this one and Mask of the Rose as well. We're low on supplies, I know. And I'm probably going to be playing Sunless Skies off-stream myself. just to continue getting my fix so that I can save this game for the stream. All right, we have gotten to Gator's Morn. Bridge, thank you so much for the follow. Stepping carefully. Gator's Morn is a stalagmite vast as a crag. Its foot has no safe harbors. The Morn is a stalagmite vast as a crag, and its foot has no safe harbors. The Corsair's citadel nestles halfway up. An intricate system of winches takes the strain, and your ship rises slowly from the Z. Her hull creaks in protest. Grizzled sailors groan and cling to stanchions. Higher, higher. Now the Untersee shimmers like glass below. Children clambering in crevices cheer and wave alarmingly. The winch motor slows, and you hang in a cradle next to a red-bowed pirate cutter. Right, I have a something awaits you. But I can only thing of that. So, you think that we should take an evening right... Ooh, God, 50 echoes. I need to get some money back. Oh, I could sell this cask of wine I found out here. Yeah, I'll do that. That will pay for my shore leave-ish. A drinking den by Dock Candles is a good place for your crew to find companionship and let off steam. But although the Gator's Morn is a free port, the Corsairs prefer their own, and look askance at respectable Londoners. I'm a street urchin. I'm not respectable. I have to do a very modest Veils challenge for this, so let's roll the dice. Boom. A rousing evening, nevertheless. Your crew teaches the limpet a whole cycle of especially filthy sea shanties. At one point, you could swear you hear your name inserted in one of the more complex verses, but you maintain a diplomatic silence. I lost 50 echoes and 5 terror, so everyone has calmed down a little bit. That's a delight. I'm glad they respect me, these nasty little pirates. Oh, that didn't take my something awaits me. Interesting. But I did need it in order to do it, I suppose. Explore the Morn. There is a surprising quantity of actual landscape on the Morn. It's vertical, admittedly, but once you find the best paths and urchin roads, that's me. You can traverse it as though you would a rocky moor, with an additional throatful of lurching terror. You turn. There's a long, lank, brown man at your shoulder. Listen, he says, I have a story for you. Okay, I could turn it around and scare the shit out of him with a tale of terror and a Z story. I could run the hell away, or I could go, huh, and let him start talking. I want to turn the situation around because I think that sounds interesting. No, I have stories for you. Fresh from the sea, he has experienced horror and wonder, but so have you, and your tale is so much the fresher. You wrestle with each other's histories until he at last concedes. Here, he says, this is where it all began, with the astronomer and the ephemerides. He whispers in your ear. I've lost my Z story, I've lost my tale of terror, but I've gained 50 fragments and lost 2 terror. Seems like it might not have been the best trade, but it's interesting at the very least. Overhear rumors of a pirate poet. Landlubbers fear pirates. Pirates fear the poet. Lies, nonsense, glimmers. Some say she's a clayman who freed herself with the power of verse. Possible. Others insist she's the personal muse of the king with 100 hearts. Unlikely. One claims she sails on a living ship made of the still screaming skulls of her victims. More sober voices mutter that, no, it's just an Alcaeus-class vessel. Whatever the truths, few have fought her and survived to tell the tale. Only the bravest of captains risk the lonely parts of the Z where her flag is said to fly. Interesting. So there's a pirate poet out there. Gators mourn swarms with pirates, smugglers, and captains of uncertain allegiance. You could learn a lot here. You need to go carefully. Let's give it a try. In caution, a steaming bathhouse on a spur of rock. Water slops over the edge of tubs, out over the edge to join the Z far below. Scarred captains boast drunkenly of the prizes they've taken, the victims they've marked out. You listen from the shadows. Succeeded in Veil. That was the way that I got the port report for this place. Interesting. Alright, can we buy supplies here for exorbitant money? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think our best bet might be to try to make it back to London with the supplies that we have, because I think it said that supplies are cheaper in London. Oh, we can sell souls here? I guess. I don't think there's anything else of significance to do here at Gatorsmorn right now. So, I think... Oh, right. I never took a look at my Whisper-locked puzzle box. Let's examine this. The terror economy is complicated enough. Some ports are much better for shore leave than others, and often the shore leave option characterize the port than to be later in the game. Much less of a chronic terror buildup, more of an issue leading. Chip away at terror frequently before it becomes overwhelming. Can you leave and then immediately open fire on the town to plunder supplies? It did say the town was, like, way high up there, so I don't think it's going to be a particularly good siege. Yeah, and when I was in London, I saw the price of some of the ships and was like, I think Echoes are going to become a lot more manageable later on down the line, but when we're starting out, that's a issue as it stands. A Whisper-locked puzzle box. If you've learnt the phrase that opens it, you can do so here. If not, what do you intend? I could throw it in the water. I could throw it in the water as an offering to Salt, a god of the Z, apparently, and remove a curse, which I don't have. Or I could bust it open. The chest is reinforced with steel and probably Irami riddlery. But if you actually turn the fire of your ship's guns on it, it will probably give up its contents, what's left of them. I think let's just hang on to this one for a little while and not do something completely psychotic with it. However, I did also want to speak to the Longshanks gunner now that I had some secrets. Alright, Captain. What do you want me to shoot at now? So secrets I could use to... Oh, I could improve my iron with that. And my iron is pretty bad. So that wouldn't be a terrible idea, I think. A moment to refill. Let's see how much we get for a secret, because I'm curious about that. Hey! I can proposition her, but I am nowhere near apparently, like, brave enough to do so, as I believe iron kind of is that stat. The gunner ran with the regiment, the urchin gang who keep a cannon in a high clock tower. But the urchin gang rejects adults, and now she plies her skills at Z. From the way she stumbles over the story, she still misses them. Okay, so it may be 1-to-1, or at least from the Longshanks gunner, it's only 1-to-1. So... Right, she wants to go to the Khanate. That was her goal. Which is super to the east, if I remember correctly. I don't know if we can make it back to London with only 2 supplies. Uh-oh. Well, let's find out. Once again, what's the worst that happens? We starve to death and die? C'est la vie. Longshanks gunner has ridiculously strict standards for romantic partners, considering she can only be obtained by starting as a former urchin. Yeah, it's certainly interesting at the very least. Okay, I'm guessing the ship isn't hostile because it wasn't outlined in... Oh, no, it's hostile. I'm incorrect. Because it wasn't outlined in red, but, nope. I could become a cannibal, you say. No, I'm good. I'm not surprised that I can become a cannibal, but I think let's try to avoid that if we can for the time being. I want to get a ram. Oh, ow. That was a rough hit. Are you a pirate also? If you are, I'm going to have a problem, I think. Yup. Oh dear. Loot and scuttle her. Lean pickings. Bit of fabric. Parabola is the serpent place behind mirrors. Or someone made that up. But in that case, where do they weave this sleek and embery glittering cloth? Secrets are always skill points. The trainer is always going to be one to other conditions apply. Good to know. You know what? I'm just gonna let that pirate be for the time being. I want to make it back to Mutton Island at the very least. Might be able to pick up some supplies there. Maybe they've filled up their crabs again. Our hull is at 54 out of 75. That's fine. That'll buff out. Do they eat the second it hits 50? Yeah, they eat the second it hits 50. I wonder, there's probably settings that can change that to make the, Oh, thank God, meat! I can't wait to eat that crab. I wish we had found it before we just ate our supplies, though. Hungry. Oh, I've only lost hunger. We can't preserve them. Ugh. Frustrating. Uh-oh. We'll be fine. We're close to London. We'll be fine. And we've got enough port reports that they can probably pay us, which means we can buy the supplies that we need to actually keep going and do any of the other things that we've been commissioned to do. Fragments are essentially experience points, and early on when we constantly discover new map areas, they're very plentiful and they'll seem worthless. That slows way down as you clear a map. 5 fragments. Trade about 1-to-1 with echoes when you can trade them. Okay. Be able to trade 2 stories for not a bad deal. Back to London. Welcome home, everyone. Let's take a brief rest. Alright. The lights of London welcome you home. The storylet only appears when you've been at sea for a little while. Collect messages from the harbor master. All the clatter and songs of the dockside. It soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? Let's see. Something has changed in the Neath? Someone wants to sign on? That's all for now. You have another day, a free evening, and the Rose Market bustles on at the Roser's Room. We will be there today. Alright. Consider a specialist surgeon. She is staying at a respectable boarding house near the docks, and has made it known that she is available for work. I specialize in amputations. It's easy to acquire unwanted appendages at sea. Employ the Clairiere. Her talents could be well employed on your vessel. Clairiere is a doctor who increases hearts and iron. And hire her for 30 echoes. Let's wait and take a better example of what we have. Or take a better examination of what we have at the moment. The Rose Market caters to collectors and eccentrics, Anyone with exotic tastes and the gumption to harass sea captains. According to the archaic rules of the market, you can only make one trade per visit. Choose wisely. We don't have anything that we can actually trade from. Much worse to run out of fuel and run out of supplies. Running out of supplies only causes problems slowly as hunger can rise, and you can find food lots of. Running out of fuel immediately stops the ship completely. That makes sense. Thankfully, I've been pretty comfortable on my fuel buffer as it stands, at least in how far I'm ranging right now. I don't think the Rose Market is for us at the moment. But I do think that we should visit the Admiralty's survey office. We have several port reports that we would like to turn in. I've got a port report on Gator's Morn. You have something to tell us about the pirate fleets of the forest? Got $30. Got Admiralty's favor and a fuel. The Kumayan Canal, if you've been there, I suppose we may as well hear about it. The fee is nominal, though. Only got 5 echoes, because it's just to the south. It's easy to acquire unwanted appendages at sea. Made me do a double take. What kind of fish are you eating? The ones from Dredge? I wouldn't be surprised if the fish from Dredge are, not necessarily the exact ones here, but very similar ones. The Untersee doesn't look like a particularly mutation-free body of water. Pigmode Isle. I'm not certain I heard you correctly. Yes, there was an island with rats and guinea pigs that had a big old war. I brokered a peace with them. That's my report. They paid me $10 for that. I feel like... Are you quite certain this is the report you wish to make? So be it. I feel like I should have gotten more for that. Quaker's Haven. Been trying the original rubbery lumps, have we? You've lost a port report, 5 echoes, got a few more favors. Your visit to Quaker's Haven. Okay, so these low-ranging ones don't give us much for anything, really. Asked to speak to the dark-spectacled admiral. Do you have an appointment? No appointment, but, apparently I'm to show you in anyway. Very well. You're ushered into his office, off Mansion's pyre, a cramped room with a vast desk. He surveys you across that desk. Ah, yes. The merchant captain of whom we hear such complicated things. The Admiralty will purchase intelligence from me and submit my port reports. I can ask what he needs. I can speak of moves in the Great Game. Yeah, we got a move in the Great Game from the other person. I'm fine turning that sky. Rubbery lumps are my favorite food. Speak of moves in the Great Game. Whispers. He has you repeat it all twice. He doesn't take notes. A little beyond me, he tells you. But I have a friend in the palace who'll be very interested. Very interested. Thank you. Your fee. 30 echoes and an Admiralty's favor again. Assistance with subsistence. I can spend 1 point of favor for 2 to 3 fuel with the Admiralty. I can submit my port reports, or I could discover what the Admiral wants. Let's do that. Information. Visit a port and will be interested in port report. Visit places of particular interest and will be interested in the strategic information you gain thereby. Pay you well, don't worry. Understand you can't be expected to act entirely of the Empire. His lip curls. What's left of it. One of the big early game traps for new players is trying to play it safe by staying near London. Port report payouts tend to increase in value the further you get from London, so going a big circle where you stay close to your home port will keep payouts low and is a good recipe. That definitely tracks from what I've been experiencing so far. Okay. Submit my port reports. And I don't have anything else to say to you right now. Out into the foggy streets. I can trade secrets at the university. The university has an inexhaustible appetite for secrets, Z specimens, and other tidbits of esoteric lore. Provide a secret to prove yourself worthy of entry. Find secrets by locating locations of interest or in foreign ports. Quite impressed. Oh, yes. The university's maritime liaison whispers breathily. Oh, yes. This is quite a tasty one. Let me explain it to you. She explains, teeth glinting. You've lost a secret, a twist in your tale, and I have a favor of the antiquarian, and I've gained a pages, which is esoteric knowledge, and occasionally practical knowledge. Oh, you got big eyes. The Alarming Scholar. Oh, this was something. Everyone is named after sort of their positions or relationship. The Longshanks Gunner, the Alarming Scholar, the Bespectacled Admiral. They don't have actual names, which I think is an interesting sort of storytelling decision that I like. They do this in the browser game as well, for the most part. Though I've run into some people with names here and there. The Alarming Scholar is mercurial, to say the least, a creature of sudden moods and provoking teeth. Possibly her. Is it her? Appointment as University Maritime Liaison was precautionary. To keep his... Is it his? Razor-sharp enthusiasm from causing too many injuries in the faculty. Ah, yes, the scholar whispers breathily. I have a budget for acquisition. What have you brought me? If you have any knowledge items that the scholar will buy, they will appear below. Ask the scholar about the whisper-locked box. Yeah, I've got this weird box. But, oh, I got that from Fallen London. That's right, because I connected my accounts when I logged in. Cobweb light silver tumblers will align if the words are right. But what are the words? Perhaps the makers of the box will know. I have an idea where it's from, but it's a long way there, and I may be wrong. So perhaps I rather like the box. Perhaps you should simply sell it to me. I could sell them the box for 100 echoes, or I could politely refuse. And I am always one to defer a payment for later. So we're going to keep this box until I figure out how to open it or die. I will politely refuse and ask her his advice. Irene, I'd say. The Iremi like locks. They like puzzles. They can make things that are honestly implausible. Their city is perched on Parabola's rim, like a hummingbird on the finger of a god. Go to Irem. Perhaps they can open it for you. Perhaps they can tell you how. The scholar has suggested you seek answers in Irem, in the far northeast from London. Okay. I don't have anything else that I can interact with the Alarming Scholar about, so let's bounce from there. Going into London, I could carouse in the Wolfstack Docks, which is a matter of luck, raw luck, I believe. It will reduce my terror. I might run into trouble or romance for $10. I could hire on more crew. I have 8 crew out of 10. I'm guessing I can lose crew from just anything, and that will be not great. Offer passage to a tomb colony. An emigrant will pay you to be taken north to Venderbite. Or I could get a new recruit. I don't know if the new recruit is the specialist surgeon, but we don't have a surgeon. Oh, first, let's take a look at shops. Let's buy supplies. Yeah, they're 20 here. That's pretty reasonable. I think I'll buy a few of those. That sounds good. 5 supplies. And then, I think let's employ the Clattery Air. Her talents could be well employed in our vessel. It doesn't hurt to have a doctor on board at any time. She comes with a bag full of knives and her own personal sharpening stone. Don't touch these. Don't let anyone else touch them. Appoint your new officer by dragging her from the officer's tab to her slot at the top of the screen. Do this in port, not at sea, or you may unsettle your crew. Alright, we have a surgeon now. Let's chat with her a little bit. She works with 2 scalpels at a time, or with a scalpel and a tined instrument, pinning open the flesh she's working on. Her operations are brisk and yield very little blood. I could invite her to dine with her, which would spend a supplies, which I will not be doing, or I could immediately proposition her. No, I'm good. Specialist Surgeon is a free DLC character and is outside the recruit rotation. He was originally pre-order bonus for backers that was eventually released to everyone. He's a bit overpowered for the early game and always standing on the paid for her. Interesting. I don't mind them making a lot of... I know I downloaded a lot of stories and stuff like that when I loaded it. Well, I can't say a lot. It didn't really... how many I downloaded, but I downloaded and updated stories. I'm guessing that she was probably one of them. In the interim, however, let's see what else, because we're still missing a cook, a chief engineer, and a first officer. Never mind. I got it. When I locked, when I recruited the heir, locked that down. It's fine. Let's offer passage to a tomb colonist, however. It is oddly difficult to die in Fallen London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. The tomb colonist is in your hold. Take them north to the colony of Venderbite and sell them there. Sell? Don't love it, but I'm gonna consider that just a really weird way to do fare. Human beings or cargo. I guess if they're weird mummy people. They might be cargo in a manner of speaking. Okay. Shops real quick. Let's take a look at what we still have. We could sell the Scintillac for 70 echoes. Honestly, that seems like a decent spend. We could sell our engine. That seems like a terrible idea. Torpedo. Oh, these are all ship parts. They're all much more expensive than any reasonable message to buy. Tomb colonists straddle the line between companion and cadaver. Tomb colonists I find fascinating. I've learned a little bit about them from the browser game, but I love the idea of they just keep coming back a little bit more jacked up every time, so they just look real messed up. And thus they kind of comport themselves like mummies. I think that they're, the fact that they, like, trade in their bandages is such a cool idea. Mummies that use bandages as currency, in a manner of speaking. It's just a really neat little idea. While the wide variety of currencies that Fallen London has can be super intimidating, because I never know what I should keep, I never know what I should spend, or anything like that. They're all very cool, very interesting. Secrets as currency is always something I adore, just because I think it's a fun little idea, even though I think in this case they're like, it's hard to tell if they're like physical or metaphysical in a way. Something like, oh, this is the little lantern thing you were talking about, where something happens whenever I land now. I suppose let's dock at Hunter's Keep. No compelling reason not to. A hump of dark rock, swathed in mist, like 100 other Untersee islands. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist, like 100 other Untersee islands. But here's a grand house, windows aglow. Lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight. Raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. Oh, this is where the student wanted to go. Right. I guess this was just here and I missed it. Oh well. Inspect the Lorn Fluke with the anxious university student. He got to go on a free trip, honestly, so he really got a good deal out of this. The anxious student rushes by you, whooping, but he stops on the hilltop. On the shore, standing before the mass of dead needles, is a drowny in an Nunkian postal uniform. He glowers up at you. "This is not where the fluke belongs," the drowny cries in a plummy voice. "It's to be taken elsewhere. It already has a delivery label. That means I have to deliver it." The student sneers. "Sod your label! Captain, help me haul this beast to Station 3. My advisor at the college has arranged a room there for its dissection and study. My work will benefit us all." Who will the corpse go to? It's rare something so awful washes up. Oh, that's nasty. There is only one fluke. They can't both have it. Transport the Lorn Fluke to Station 3. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the student says. Or transport the Lorn Fluke to Nunkio. It's labeled already, after all. Interesting. I could have just taken this student on a really long roundabout journey, taken him to where he wanted to go, and then not helped him. That's really funny. Let's do that. The Lorn Fluke is tied by very reluctant sailors to drag behind your stern. On your deck, the drowning postman smiles, relieved. "I was worried you wouldn't understand. Take me to Nunkio at your leisure." He glances over the railing. The anxious student stands on the shore, shouting and swearing at you. Tears fall from his eyes. The drowning shrugs and heads below deck. Down for Nunkio with the drowning postman. Would you tell me where Nunkio is, bud? Mr. Drowney? Are you an officer? Can I speak with you? Are you an item? Oh well. You're somewhere, I suppose. Okay. Let's present ourselves at the house. Knock and enter. A maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you in the parlor where 3 young women wait. "A visitor!" the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. "Do excuse the indecorum," she says. "Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe. The cheerful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us?" You are acquainted with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. That kid is gonna grow up and swear revenge on me for sure. Excuse me. Let's take dinner or lunch with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. Luncheon with the sister. Ooh, I get to choose which one. Cynthia is the eldest, melancholy, pensive, and occasionally dramatic. Lucy is the middle sister, sunny, restless, prone to giggles. Phoebe is soft-voiced, watchful, and unpredictable. Or I could reconnoiter the island. Let's talk with the youngest. We are a young little urchin ourselves. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell. Of 2 lovers parted by water. Of a raven that carried messages. Of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room, the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The Untersee shimmers below, islands like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spined things pulse in the depths. There is a scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there. Finished the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and Bath Oliver biscuits. That's all for now. One memory of distant shores. You were acquainted with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. Free hunger. That's honestly great. It looks like I was just below a break point of that. Losing 5 terror. Honestly, I consider this a complete win. And we now have Gods of the Z's, Storm's Attention. Wait, An ancient anger knows you. That sounds bad. Okay. The parlor is empty. Where are the sisters? The maid makes it clear through a series of unwelcoming growls that Phoebe, Lucy, and Cynthia are all three indisposed. The Nightbot thing really hates everyone being all in caps. Simply an unforgettable luncheon. Let's reconnoiter the island as well. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well-tucked-away fold of the grounds. Anything else? The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing has changed, at least. No, it's a connate expression. All right. With that, we are 5 minutes out from 5. We are in port at the time being. I think we manuals... Oh, in unforgiving mode, Sunless Sea, whenever you dock or whenever you die. Okay, so let's undock and then redock. It saves, saving game. And with that, I think I'm going to end the stream here. I want to thank you all so much for showing up. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had a good time listening to what was going on in the Sunless Sea and exploring the undersea with me. I look forward to hopefully seeing you next time. I will be streaming tomorrow, 3 to 5 as well, Pacific time. So please join me then if you're interested. Thank you again. I don't have anyone to raid because I honestly don't know how to do that yet. So I think I'm just going to stream this dream. But yeah, thanks again. Thank you all so much for coming. Hey, if you stuck around to the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed. If you want to help support me in making more of this, you can follow me on Twitch, where I stream these live. Like, comment, and subscribe. I suspect you all know how this works by now, but it really does help a lot. Thanks.